A Very Self-Interrupted Christmas is kindly sponsored by Eugenia Milian, the author of Wild Childs. You guys know that Wild Childs has sponsored Self-Interrupted previously. For all of season 5, Eugenia sponsored Self-Interrupted. And I'm so honored that Eugenia is back sponsoring this Christmas special. If you don't know already, Wild Childs is a fiction book based on the truth of the modeling industry. Now, Eugenia has worked as a model, as an agent, and as a producer. So if anyone's going to write a book about the modeling industry, it's going to be Eugenia. I would say this book is a great purchase for a holiday read or a read in the new year. It's really inspiring to see how Eugenia writes and turns bad experiences in the modeling industry into something really great, whether that's just the book itself, or it's you and me reading this book and understanding that the modeling industry isn't all that it's chalked up to be. Wild Childs by Eugenia Milian is a very cinematic read. It's one of those books that you can really envision, and you can almost tell that it's going to be a TV show or a film very soon. So it's lovely to be able to say that you've read the book before it's become a TV show or a film. You can check out Wild Childs in the show notes below. Thank you so much to Eugenia Milian for sponsoring A Very Self-Interrupted Christmas. It means so much to me. I'm sending you love. Enjoy the Christmas episode. It's always, oh baby, all I want for Christmas is you. Until you turn up to the function without a gift and then everyone's screaming. For the past 2 weeks, you've been exclaiming. You've actually been shouting, for lack of a better word. Your presence is the present. And then I turn up Christmas morning. My mum, my dad, my brothers. I've opened all the presents from them. Of course I have. It's Christmas morning. They exclaim to me, they say, Kit, where are the gifts that you got us? I said, you said all you want for Christmas is me and I'm here. And they can't believe it. They are in shock. And they say, Kate, you must have got us something. And I say, listen, okay, there's one thing underneath the Christmas tree that I got you. So they're scrambling. They're racing underneath the Christmas tree. There's nothing there. I say, yes, it is, baby. It's tucked behind. Like, look around. My brother pulls out a MacBook Pro 2023 edition. Thank you very much. And he says, Kit, did you get us a MacBook Pro to share? And I said, absolutely. Never get it to it. This is my laptop. Open it up and put it on the coffee table, babe. He opens it up. Of course, lock screen. You can never trust your family. So I get my fingerprint because once again, it's a MacBook Pro 2023 edition. Open it up on full volume in the surround sound speakers that I put in the house. Just for this moment. They will be taken down tomorrow and returned. A Very Self-Interrupted Christmas starts playing. Everyone's confused. They said, Kit, is this the Christmas special of your globally charting podcast? And I said, yes, exactly it is. Dim the lights, get the popcorn, baby. We're about to tap in. Guys, we are back. And thank goodness, genuinely, I'm sitting here in my John Lewis pajamas, a tight burgundy turtleneck in front of the fireplace, which also has red walls behind it. I was a bit scared, I was a bit dubious, I will be honest, that my red top would clash with the red wall. I'm really hoping that it's not. I have studio lights on in the studio, which is the living room of the house. We have like big bay windows, so I'm acting as if that's also a studio light. It's just giving professional, it's giving budget. You know, like Mariah Carey has her Christmas specials and it's all cute, it's all fun, of course it is. But I just think that the Self-Interrupted with Kit Costello Christmas special entitled A Very Self-Interrupted Christmas is almost on the same budget. We have the same budget. We do. And we also have the same jam-packed episode that a Christmas special will have. Of course, we have the Christmas catch-up, where I'm going to be talking about everything that's been going on recently. I've been going to influencer events. There's been some boy drama, a Wicked for Good screening that went slightly awry. We're going to be talking this episode about being single during the holidays, feeling like you don't belong in yourself, in your body, and also in your family. We're going to be answering some Am I the Arsehole? Christmas edition. Going to be doing a little Christmas Q&A. And finally, we're going to be talking about plans for the new year. It's a jam-packed episode, and I'm so excited that you're joining me here today. Thank you so much for being here. This is my hope. I really hope that you're listening to this, possibly with a friend, but also by yourself. I do love being by myself. So I'm gonna lean towards the latter, by yourself, with either a hot chocolate. I currently have a cup of tea in a Robin mug that I am drinking. It is early in the morning. It's currently 9:51 a.m. right now. And I hope that you're comfy, maybe in your bed, maybe on a sofa. You have a couple of blankets. I was about to say comforters. You have a couple of comforters, guys. Right. I'm just appealing to my American audience, and I don't think that makes me a villain. I think it makes me a businesswoman. Thank you. But I just hope that you also have a sweet treat. Sweet treats are important in the KCCU, the Kit Costello Cinematic Universe. Those are the rules for this episode. Basically, just be cozy and feel comforted by me. But other than that, I think that we should get into the episode, starting off with the Christmas catch-up. We're back. It's so exciting to be doing this special episode in between seasons because normally, if you don't know, I do the podcast in seasons. So we just finished season 5. Season 6 is coming in the new year. Very exciting. I hope that you're applauding at home. Thank you. But there is a bigger break in between the seasons this time, and I just thought it would be so lovely to do a Christmas special just to check in with you guys. And it just feels a little bit festive. It's something to look forward to. I really love when my favorite TV shows do a festive special. So I just thought if I was a fan of a podcast, I would want them to do this. Just because it gives you something, you know, a little like, oh, I could sit down and listen, or I could go for a Christmas walk and a Christmas walk listening to Self-Interrupted. It's some people's nightmares, but then again, it's also some people's dreams. I was a bit nervous that the intro would be really rusty and I wouldn't be able to do it correctly because I haven't recorded an episode in ages. Like, when I finish recording a season, I don't even look at a microphone. I'm just so Adele in that way. No, truly. I don't know what you're thinking, Kit. Now, how are you Adele? Because Adele, she does an album. She doesn't even write songs in between her album rollouts. She just puts the microphone down. And me and Adele were very similar in that sense. What do you guys know about porridge? Quickly answer me now. What do you know about porridge? Because I love coming on this podcast and acting like it's the word of Jesus. Like, no one's heard. Have you heard the good news? Have you heard the good news about porridge? I feel like last season it was roasted vegetables, which I still love. But this season it's like, have you heard the good news about porridge? Me and porridge were like this. If you're a listener, I'm currently crossing my fingers. That's me familia. I have a special little bowl that I have my porridge in the morning. Cinnamon, nutmegs in the porridge, of course. We have chopped walnuts on the porridge, desiccated coconut. I got this, oh my gosh, caramelized apple spread. Guys, I don't even know. It just tastes like the inside of an apple pie. And I put it in my porridge and it's special. One tip that I will give you over the holiday season, just romanticize your life. Buy that thing that's a little maybe a little bit more expensive, or even still, just indulge in the things that maybe you don't indulge in, because I never indulged in porridge. But now that it's Christmas, I said, well, get the bowl out, get the saucepan, let's make the porridge. So that's been my morning routine. Porridge, Mary Berry on TV, who's a cooking icon over here in the UK. Dame Mary Berry, actually, to you. Mary Berry on the TV, my French press full of coffee. And then after I've finished my Mary Berry episode, play a bit of Sudoku. Don't know how to pronounce it. The game. Play a bit of Sudoku because I'm very intelligent like that. Exactly. Right. And then I watch a Christmas film. And that just smells of self-employment. Like, I've been doing this since like December, maybe even November 28th. I've been having that routine. Anyway. Something that's quite out of routine for me and very new still is going to influencer events. Now, recently I have had a bit of a change in my management. I left my podcast management and my modeling agency in back-to-back emails, right? In the same 10 minutes. Yeah. I then announced that I was signed to new management, which is really exciting. Shout out to Bricks, my divas over at Bricks. Much love to you. Being with Bricks, they're amazing because they send me all of these events that I can go to. And it's with all these other influencers. Now, I start receiving these events and I love bringing a +1 to an event because I'm very nervous. I don't like going to places by myself, specifically when there's threats of influencers being there. I got this event come through and it's for the opening of Winter in the City or something. It's like Winter by the River, I believe it's called. And basically the premise of this event is that by the River Thames, there are tons of huts that sell food, that sell crafts, etc. Think of it like a fair almost. And I was going to the opening. My goodness, I felt so special. I was like, roll out the red carpets, etc. I bring a +1, Emma, famous character in the KCCU, and we're really excited. You know, there's an itinerary for this event. 6:30, we meet for drinks. At 7, there's curling, which is like a sport, an ice sport. We were very excited. And then at 7:30, we were going to go to the stalls, and then at 8, we were going to go for a drink at somewhere called the Glass Observatory. I don't know. Emma and I turn up, we got a free drink ticket and a free food ticket each. And we look at this itinerary and we look around and we say, oh, no one here is following the itinerary. And we go up to the leader of, the organizer, we should say, of the event. And I just say, hey, like, are we following the itinerary, or can we just kind of do whatever we want? And she said, oh no, baby, you do whatever you want. So Emma and I kind of just standing there, and there's a bunch of influencers that are literally doing nothing. They're just standing. Great, love. No one's talking to each other. Amazing. No, it's a really great time. I got a pint of Guinness, Emma got a hot chocolate, and we did a bit of curling, which is when you like throw discs on an ice rink. Guys, I don't know. Emma and I kept playing this game. Everyone around us seemed to be having the time of their damn life. Emma and I just looked at each other and said, let's see what the audience thinks. Like, truly, what are we doing here? So we kind of acted as if we knew what we were doing for 15 minutes too long. And then we said, oh, can we just use our free food ticket to walk over to the stalls and get our free food? And she said, yeah. And I said, oh, do all the stalls accept this free ticket? And she said, yeah, of course they do. Emma and I look at each other like we'd just won the lottery. It's so excited. We're both hungry. We've been talking about how hungry we are since we met up to come to this event. So Emma and I walk to this main, I would say, square, okay? In the middle, there's like an open pub. And then by the side, there's these 2 huts. And Emma and I look at each other and we say, all this fuss for 2 huts and an open pub. Ridiculous. I go to one of the huts. He says he doesn't accept the food ticket. I look at Emma. We're confused. We go to the next hut, selling churros. I'm excited for churros. Why not? I haven't had dinner, but sure. No, we don't accept that. Emma and I look at each other really confused. This woman just said that the huts accept the free token. Equally, we're literally here to celebrate these huts. Why aren't they celebrating with us? So we go to this pub, and the pub owner is very confused. He said, I don't know what you're talking about, girls, but I feel a bit bad for you, so I'll give you a free pizza in exchange for one of the tokens. So thank goodness, we get a free pizza. We sit down, we eat it. We're kind of discussing how bizarre this event is because no one's talking to each other. It's kind of like very corporate vibes. And we also aren't getting the food that we were promised. Confusion. Emma and I finish our pizza. We walk back to the main little hut where they're doing the curling and the free drinks. The woman comes up to us and she says, oh, did you have a great time? Did you get some really fun crafts and some food? And we looked at her and we said, yeah, no, none of the huts are accepting it. And she said, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And I said, oh no, it's no bother, but we got a pizza. It's just really confusing. And she said, yeah, no, that's really annoying. We'll kind of tell them off. We'll tell the people at the huts off. Emma and I kind of walk around a little bit. We sit down in this hut and I go up to the leader again and I say, on the itinerary, it says that we're going to the Glass Observatory for drinks. Where is that? And she said, oh, it's just walk by the river and you can't miss it. It's like a massive glass building. Emma and I are really excited. As we walk out, mind you, next to the river, the south bank of London, pouring down with rain and it's dark. There's no shelter. We are getting rained on, okay? Emma and I walk past the pub and the 2 huts that denied our free ticket and we turn a corner. Now, Kittenators, I need you to hold my hand really quickly and I'm going to have you breathe with me, okay? And we're breathing in together. 3, 2, 1. And we're breathing out. As we turn this corner, there's about 25 huts. Lit up, Christmas lights, there's steam coming out of some of them. We walk past, there's pies being made fresh, there's tacos, there's churros, there's Korean hot dogs. Emma and I look at each other like we are maybe the dumbest people alive. I go to the first hut with my ticket and I say, oh my goodness, do you accept this? He looks at me and he says, we've been waiting for people to come and get food. Where have you guys been? Emma and I we walk away. We just don't have time to deal with it. Yeah, wasn't the best. Mind you, we're also being rained on at this point. We just discovered we're absolute morons, idiots, and imbeciles, and we're probably going to get these people in trouble. And we're being rained on, love. Emma and I were like, okay, last stage of this event, we just need to go and grab a drink just to say that we've done it. So we go to this Glass Observatory, which is like a 5-minute walk. We are now drenched. Like, I did my hair for this event. I look a mess. Walk into the oh, guys, this is just so ridiculous. We walk into this Glass Observatory. Instantly, the vibes are completely off. There's something sinister going on in this room. Sinister being a bunch of old white men walking around, looking like they're about to vote against our rights. That kind of old white man, right. They're walking up and down the stairs where we should be walking. And I looked at Emma and I said, this isn't really the target market I assumed for this event, but sure. Mind you, before I came to this event, I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to impress Emma. Like, I'm going to my first influencer event. Like, of course, it's going to be really camp. It's going to be beautiful. Like, the red carpet's going to be rolled out. I walk upstairs past security to this so-called drinks area. I go to the bar and the bartender looks at me and she says, oh, are you with LBC? And I said, girl, no, I'm not with LBC, which is like a radio station for like a mature person, let's say. I said, no, I'm not with LBC, girl. Emma and I are the youngest people in here by far, by a country mile. And she says, oh, you're not with LBC? Go over there. We go over there and they're expecting us to pay like £25 for a drink each. And I said, oh my God, like this is just going from bad to worse. Emma's like, for goodness sake, Kit, there's a balcony. I want to get a photo just before we go to have something, have some reason for coming here with you. So we go outside onto this balcony and we start taking photos. And these two boys that are the only other people our age at this event, but they're definitely with the LBC people. They walk in looking like they're about to vote against our rights as well and start photobombing Emma's photo. And I just said, oh, wrap it up. Wrap it up. It's done. Girl, it's done. Let's just stop. No, there's no point. Like, just end it. And I put down the phone. I said, thanks so much. Thank you. Oh, they're trying to be friends with us. Just walk away. I said, no, not right now. Not right now, queen. Not right now. My favorite word at the moment, not right now. Because not right now is a word. It's not multiple. No, not right now. We walked out. Security tried to check us as we went out. I said, what are you doing, girl? You let us in. Like, what do you think? I love the way they checked us when we came out of the event, not when we came in. Love. Emma and I just called it a day. We got free churros with my food ticket at one of the huts. The owners of that hut did not want to give away those free churros. I gave them the ticket. One of them gave the ticket to the other owner without saying anything. They looked at each other, nodded, and just started making churros. No one was talking. Emma and I just felt like drowned rats by the end of it, and I got the tube home. Grand. Love. The next and final Christmas event that I have been to recently was the House of Sunny Christmas party, which is very exciting. House of Sunny is a really cool fashion brand, and I was very excited that they had invited me. So, of course, I turned up on time, if not early, and then waited outside in the cold for about 15 minutes until people started showing up. Love. Went in, it was gorgeous. It was all their new Christmas stock, and it was just really lovely vibes. House of Sunny is like a really small team. I didn't realize that it's literally someone called Sunny, and it's their house. Like, wow. Anyway, make friends with the PR people, which I love to do. And guys, I will say, I did get a little bit tipsy. When I say a little bit tipsy, I got a lot tipsy. I think I had like 6 glasses of champagne. Don't know why. Like, I didn't need to get tipsy. It wasn't necessary. I don't think, because mind you, it's like a professional event. I really do need to start getting my act together because I'm a little bit of a lightweight, I would say. So 6 glasses of champagne in, ooh. I was trying not to look drunk, which makes me laugh in real time. Like, I laugh to myself, which then makes me laugh because I know that I look like an idiot laughing to myself. Do you know what I mean? So then I'm stood there in the corner just laughing. So embarrassing. What's more embarrassing is that I texted a guy I was dating to hook up with him, even though I definitely wouldn't have hooked up with him. Much love to you if you're listening to this podcast, sending love and Christmas wishes, etc. But I definitely texted him out of the blue and I was like, hey, what are you up to? Mind you, I'd booked my Uber to go home, so I wasn't going to go and see him anyway. I just kind of wanted the storyline. I did. Because the Uber that I get home, guys, shut up. Stop laughing at me. Because I love when I'm in the Uber home, from London to the farm, mind you, £50 on an Uber. You're all going to prison. Everyone listening to this podcast, for reprimations, you're all going to prison as well as me. There's just something about I was listening to I Know the End by Phoebe Bridgers on repeat for about 50 minutes. No joke. Somewhere in Germany, but I can't place it. Man, I hate this part of Texas. And so do I. Mind you, I'm like in the middle of London. Love. I was in the back of this car and I was like just texting the guy I was dating this year. And I was like, "Aw, I would love to come over." He knows I'm not coming over. I know I'm not coming over, but it's a game we play. And that's love. Like, we will get married one day. Up next on the catch up for Christmas. Who's seen Wicked for Good? Hands up. Hi guys, hands up. Well, I went to see Wicked for Good with my friends Hanifa, Emma, and new character unlocked in the KCCU, Loel. We went to see Wicked for Good. Very exciting. We'll say the tickets were about £17 each, which, ooh. I got a black tea at the cinema. I don't know why. I think I was trying to give this oh, she's chic, it's Christmas time, it's a bit cold, let's get a black sweet tea. Warm. And I just felt like a twat, to be honest. Go get the popcorn and the slushie. Why are you getting a black tea at the Wicked for Good screening? Anyway, mind you, All of my friends have been excited to watch this film since the last film came out. We're sitting at the back of the cinema. For about half of the film, you know, it's great, everyone's quiet. Then people start rustling their bags. And I'm getting pissed off because the rustling of the bag consists for about 40 minutes and it's the same person. 2 rows in front of me, 4 seats to the left. They're rustling a bag for 40 minutes. I said, bitch, what do you have? What are you eating? It's like Mary Poppins' bag of Walker's crisps. Why are we eating crisps for that long? Equally mad, there are kids right at the front of the screening running around, joking, laughing, while Elphaba's sister literally just got crushed by a house. And you're laughing? You're laughing? You think this is funny? No one's saying anything to these children. I'm getting more and more annoyed as it goes on. And I have this thing where I can't focus if I can hear something and I can't control it. Like if I can't turn the noise off, I'm not thinking about anything else other than the noise. So these kids are making noise. No one's saying anything. I'm getting annoyed. They're turning around waving to their mum or dad that's sitting behind them. I get up, walk across my whole row, walk down. Now, mind you, I don't know if these are actually children. They could be teenagers. They could be adults for all I know. But all I need to tell them off. So I go down there and I look at them and I just say, will you shut up? I point my finger. Like, will you shut up? People here have paid really good money to be here, and all I can hear is you talking. I felt like a teacher. Thank God they were children, though, I will be honest, because if they were teenagers and they started shouting at me, I literally would have had to, like, get the next train home. I would have left all my stuff in my seat. I would have had to, guys, because I'm lucky they're children. I opened my mouth for a second and they were scared. And I got a couple of knowing looks as I walked back to my seat. A very like, thank you so much for saying something. But I was looking at them like, why the hell didn't you say anything? And you were right next to them. Like, why didn't you just say, hey, can you just shut up for like a second? Or I'll kick you out the cinema. Right. New cafe alert. Guys, if you missed this, be honest. Like, are you listening to this like, damn, I'm happy that she's not doing an episode of the podcast every week now. Because she's here and she hasn't been here for 2 months and she's talking about Wicked for Good influencer events and now a favorite cafe of hers, please. I have a new favorite cafe. I love her. If you've followed me over on Instagram for the past few months, you may have seen I'm eating miso soup at this cafe. The windows fog up. There are fairy lights in this cafe. I just love it. There's something special about it's a very small cafe as well. I think it seats like maybe 10 people at max. I love it. It's beautiful. I ordered, okay, so I did order miso soup because I was getting very much like, oh, okay, she's chic. She has her black tea. She has her miso soup. And the waitress was like, oh, do you want a small? Do you want a large? And I said, well, of course I'm going to ask for a large miso soup. Who am I? So she comes and she drops off the miso soup. And I'm kind of indulging and I see that there's like a massive white thing in it. Realize it's a poached egg. Didn't know that was a thing. So I break open the poached egg. Guys, it was spectacular, I will say. Poached egg and miso soup. Speaking about things I love, the podcast. This is my final bit on the catch up for Christmas. I love this podcast so dearly. I'm so honored that so many people have recently found the podcast. My goodness. This past year, I have my little Spotify wrap for podcasters that comes up and it gives me all the analytics from the podcast. We had a 999% new audience this year. Isn't that insane? Like actually crazy. And like people are finding the podcast over on Instagram and I'm really, really proud of this podcast. I'm really excited to come back for season 6. I'm currently planning the photo shoot for season 6 and the rollout for it, etc. Because you know how I love to do that. But we will be back at the beginning-ish of next year. And I'm very excited to come back with topics that are honestly more mature, that I haven't spoken about on the podcast before. And I'm just really excited to kind of sink my teeth into doing the podcast. I think for such a long time I was chasing doing other things other than the podcast, for example, like modeling, and I kind of just got tired of running. So instead, I'm looking at the things that are successful in my life as well, like the podcast, and I'm like, I'm not having to like really, really desperately try with the podcast because it's just me. It's like, this is exactly who I am. Like my personality on this podcast is me. You know, I can be talking about something so stupid 1 second and then really have like a deep chat the next. And that's what I love about this podcast. It's really the dichotomy of me, and I'm nourishing it as much as I possibly can and giving it the thanks it deserves. And next season, I really hope that you will be able to see that because I just want to put more time and effort into it. Yeah, but I'm very excited. Are there any other little tidbits that I can give you about Christmas with the Costellos? So on the farm, like I said, it's early in the morning. It's grey overcast. It's drizzling a little bit. It's currently the 21st of December, Saturday, the 21st of December as I record this. And I'm really excited for Christmas. I will say, like, I'm very, very Christmas is just, there's something very warm about it for me. I really love lack of commitment to anything. I think that's really something that I thrive on, is not having plans to go and see people or having to go to like, Christmas dinners elsewhere. It's all within our house. And I really, really love that because I love my house. Um, and I love just being in it. I love being in my room. I love being in my pajamas all day. I love the food, guys. I'm so excited for food. Oh my goodness. I'm making a feta nut roast, which I'm really excited about. I've been eating so much chocolate. I will say, literally, day before yesterday, I went to M&S and I got their massive selection box of chocolate. Ate it all in a sitting. As you should during Christmas. Are you kidding? I'm so excited. I've made some cookies recently. I made them actually for the promo for this episode. But then my brothers ate them and I ate them together. And it was very just special. I think I love Christmas because also on the farm, to give you a bit of insight, my brothers and my dad are always working. And I feel as though when it's Christmas, the only outfit I see my dad in and my brothers are their pajamas. And I love that. I love not seeing them in their work gear because it means that we can all just relax and listen to Christmas music and just, pig out. To be honest with you, pig out on the food. I'm excited to pig out. My goodness. And I have so many cool little gifts for my parents, which I'm really excited to give them. And yeah. Anyway, that's the Christmas catch up. I think we should now get into being single for the holidays and feeling like you don't belong in the holidays. Once again, thank you so much to Eugenie Millian, the author of Wild Childs, for sponsoring a very self-interrupted Christmas with Kit Costello. If you're someone that wants to get into the fashion or the modeling industry, I would really recommend that you purchase this book and give it a read, because this book really understands the dichotomy of the modeling industry, the glitz, the glamour that's contrasted with the soul-crushing castings that you go to, or the way that some people treat you in this industry. It really is a tell-all on how to get through the modeling industry alive. And I really, really appreciate this book. It's a book that you will not want to put down over the festive period or even in the new year. So I really recommend buying it. You can purchase Wild Child in the show notes below. Thank you so much to Eugenia for sponsoring this Christmas special. I'm sending you so much love. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Yeah, so I am going to be single for the holidays, and maybe that's okay after all. Because to be totally frank with you all, oh my god, guys, I've missed this. First of all, number one, I've missed this. I will say the podcast for me, it's so lovely to do the podcast every week when I'm doing a season of the podcast, because I genuinely see it as an exile, and it's kind of a form of therapy for me, because I really talk about things that I'm going through, and there have been so many things recently that I've really been discovering about myself and that I've wanted to share with you all, because I think I'm going through a season of my life right now where I really love myself, and I haven't really felt it in this way before. It might sound narcissistic, but I'm genuinely obsessed with myself at the moment. And by that I mean I'm proud of myself. I know what I want and I'm going for it. And I think that's what I'm really proud of. I understand my worth now, which I think in a lot of ways I really didn't, maybe even just a few months ago, understand it in the way that I'm understanding it now. And I think also, I will say, slightly superficially, I'm really starting to love myself. I am starting to find myself hot, find myself sexy, find myself attractive, but equally, less superficially, I'm starting to just love myself for my brain and the talent that I hold and that I possess. And I think the reason I'm speaking about this is because you may think I want to talk about being single over the holidays is like a bad thing, but for me, it's not. I'm very happy to be single over the holidays. And to say that is jarring, maybe for some people. I know that it would have been jarring for me to hear when I was younger, because all I wanted was a relationship over the holidays. I have always fantasized about having a boyfriend over the holidays and watching Christmas movies with them and inviting them over to Christmas dinner with my family, because it's kind of what I've grown up with. My brothers have girlfriends and they come over and it's really lovely. And when I start dating someone, I'll be honest, I do quickly think about that moment with them. And I think about, oh, would they fit in with my family? And what would they look like at Christmas dinner with my family? But recently, the last thing I would want is a boyfriend during Christmas, because like I mentioned in the catch up for Christmas, sorry, I really love during Christmas to do nothing. I love being by myself. I love being in my room. I have a tradition where on Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, I will make a homemade soup with a really big baguette, and I will go up to my room and binge watch an entire TV show. Last year I binge watched Squid Games 2. And I know you're thinking, Kit, that's not the most Christmassy show, but at the end of the day, maybe it is what it is. And I only have great memories. Now, I'm sure in the future, I will not be single on Christmas and I will have great memories with them. But this Christmas, I'm really just not yearning for it. And to be frank, generally, I'm not yearning to be in a relationship right now. And it really is the first time in a long time. I was saying to Emma, once again, shout out to Emma, I was saying to her over FaceTime, if someone asked to be my boyfriend right now, I would say no. And that has never happened before. If you are a consistent viewer of this podcast, you will know that is not my normal tea. The concept of someone asking me to be their girlfriend and me saying no is so foreign. But now it's my norm. Like, that's not what I would want. I would love to kiss. I love kissing. But I would not want to be in a committed relationship because I'm so in love with me and I really want to put all that love into me. I really realized this is the first year that I have been dating. And I'm going to talk about this probably more in my plans for the new year, just to kind of reflect on what my year has been. But this is the first year that I've been dating. And I think every guy that I dated, I really saw so much potential in them. But the reason I saw that is because of me. Whether that's the light that I'm putting out that's reflecting from them back to me and I'm like, oh my God, this person's amazing. I'm just seeing myself. Or when I get home from the date, I'm romanticizing that person to the nth degree. And again, that's my mind. Sometimes I will have full conversation, like imaginary conversations with the person I'm dating in my head. And I'm like, ugh, he's so gorgeous. Didn't happen. It's all in my head. Bitch, you think you're gorgeous. You're having that conversation with you. All those little things that you would say if you were him to yourself, they never live up to what he actually says. And that's why I've kind of really lent into being like, well, if you're the one that's making up these dream scenarios in your head, and if you're the one that is getting really excited and butterflies with the things that you think he might say to you, then maybe you're the one that you can fall in love with this Christmas. Maybe you're the one that can be by herself this Christmas and not yearn to be with someone else just so that you can get a couple of cute photos together with love. I mean, I will say that's gorgeous. The concept of having like a little Christmas walk with a boyfriend, I do kind of yearn for, just a little bit. Around the farm, some Christmas kisses, please. But in general, the concept of being lonely this Christmas, there's a difference in being lonely and alone, and I'm not alone. I may be lonely just because I don't have a boyfriend, but that's not making me cry, bitch. I'll be honest. I'm very happy. But equally, if you are sad that you are lonely this Christmas, more than valid. Because for the longest time, I wanted a boyfriend. I wanted a partner. And I think being single during the holidays, it's so poignant because everyone is talking about how their partner makes them this special thing during the holidays, or their partner's family's coming over, or they love baking this with their partner, or they have this routine with their partner. You're kind of suffocated by romance and by relationships. And then on top of that, you have the Christmas films and the rom-coms and stuff. You know, you're watching Love Actually on the TV and Hugh Grant's telling you that love actually is around. But this whole year, no one's told you that they love you. So you're like, okay, so where's this love then? Romantically. And I think sometimes when it gets to Christmas and you haven't, had like maybe a successful romance this year, like myself, hello, it kind of puts a period on the year, like a full stop, and you're like, damn, it really has been a year of nothing romantically. Everything has kind of fallen through romantically this year. But I think equally you can look at it as, okay, well, that does put a period to this year, but this next year we can be more optimistic. Or you can, like me, not care. I'm going into next year, again, we'll touch on this later when I talk about my New Year's plans. I'm going into next year just not caring. If something comes next year, sure, love. But I'm not on my hands and knees begging for romance when it's not there. And I do want to say, if you attempted to text an ex or text someone that you were dating that doesn't treat you right, oh, Merry Christmas. Go leave it. Wrap it up. Pardon the pun. Wrap it up. 3 words for you. Seriously. You don't need to be sending the Merry Christmas or the Happy New Year text. If they send it to you, Ignore it just for Christmas. Just for Christmas, ignore it. Truly. And I know it sounds a little mean, maybe. I mean, obviously it's a nuanced situation, and if the ex is nice, blah, blah, blah. But if they're a bit of a twat, don't fall back into old patterns just for the sake of them wishing you happy Christmas. I love to think, how many other people have you said happy Christmas to? Am I the only one replying right now? Ooh, gag. That's going to stop you replying. You don't want to be the only one that's replying to his messages, their messages, apologies, gender ambiguity with the Kitanators who are the dating. I don't know. I just think for such a long time, I really wanted companionship over the holidays, and I really wanted to feel loved romantically by someone, and, you know, to be in the kitchen cooking with them and flirting with them and teasing them and stuff. And I think it's really lovely to know that that will come, but equally at this point in my life, I'm clearly going through something where I want to be alone, and I need to revel in that, because most of the time I am the yearner. I am the one that really wants someone to talk to them, and I want the attention, and it's nice to not feel that. And I think a big reason as to why I'm not feeling it that much this Christmas is because I do feel like I belong. Christmases at my house, I didn't feel like I belonged, especially I would say the past 5 years. I would say, like, once I hit being like mid-teenager to early 20s, the house that I grew up in, it's like completely opposite to what people would expect from a transgender podcaster. Like, I grew up in a very traditional household on a farm, and I have 3 older brothers, and I think growing up, it was very apparent and very aware that I was not like my brothers. And you could sense that through the gifts that I would receive. It would be very, very feminine stuff. My brothers would get kind of like joint gifts and I wouldn't. And as we got older and older, my brothers started having interests in different things, and conversations at dinner tables started to become slightly awkward. And I really used to just retreat away from uncomfortability when it came to like family dinners or Christmas dinners, and especially with family dinners throughout the year. Before I transitioned, I found it really, really hard to go out to dinners with my family, because I found it really awkward when I wasn't out as transgender, but the waitresses and the waiters were calling me miss and ma'am, which you would think I would love, but ironically I didn't, because I wasn't out. And they'd be like, oh, ladies first, and they'd look at me and my dad would be like, huh? But now that I'm out, there is a different element to my family and my relationship. I really feel like I belong, which is a really lovely thing. And I think looking back, a lot of the time it wasn't so much that they were making me feel like I didn't belong. It was more so me making myself feel like I didn't belong and kind of singling myself out. I would tell myself that my brothers didn't understand me because of that reason. Like, I was very different and I had to be singled out, and I, you know, wouldn't go to dinners, and I'd kind of leave the Christmas dinner table early. But recently I've just kind of understood that I'm very different to my family, but I think that's what earns me that space in that family. My difference around the dinner table is what kind of makes the dinner table what it is. That nuanced opinion and that nuanced lifestyle that my family don't really understand. It's different to theirs, and that's what I can share with them. But also, it's important to understand that, like, I tend to like group my family together as like one collective that's completely different to me. All my brothers are completely different to each other. The only reason I see them as like similar people is because they're all farmers. But I group them together as like all having the exact same thoughts, and kind of if we're having a debate, they're all against me, and that's not the truth. And I do want to emphasize that, you know, this is my family, it's not yours. And if your family, you feel like you really don't belong and there's like no reconciliation, by all means, that's your story. But I think sometimes the reason why I felt like I didn't belong is because I didn't belong in myself. I didn't feel comfortable with who I was, and therefore I didn't feel comfortable with my family seeing who I was. And I would retreat and I just wouldn't be myself. Now I'm so open with my family and I'm so myself. I'm so like loud about the views that I have, and I stand on them, and I'll debate my dad and I'll debate my brothers at the Christmas dinner table, and I will not back down. And I really love that now. I think when I was younger, it used to scare me because I didn't have the confidence. So I felt like I was just kind of being trampled over. But now I have this backbone and I stand up straight, or sit up. Of course, we're at the dinner table. I sit up straight with my vegan roast in front of me. Thank you very much. And I kind of just feel like I belong. And it's really lovely. But I do want to emphasize, you know, like if you feel like you don't belong with your family during this Christmas, I want you to know that you're not the only one that feels like that. I think it can be really an isolating feeling, but there are so many of my friends that have the same, if not very similar experiences to me when it comes to family. I think family can be a very awkward thing over Christmas. And we'll get onto the Am I the Arsehole Christmas edition later, where it does mention some of these like familial tensions that come up during Christmas time. But it really is just understanding as well. I saw this tip recently. It's coming to the dinner table and coming to Christmas your age. I think sometimes when you go back to the family house for Christmas, you kind of slip into the younger version of yourself. Maybe the version of yourself that wouldn't speak up for yourself, or the version of you that felt like you didn't have views on this political subject, or, you know, views on something more meaningless. I think what's actually helped for me is understanding that no, I am a 23-year-old trans woman and I have experience in life much like my brothers do, and I'm going to start acting like I am that adult, and I'm going to just come to the table and talk about what I want to talk about because I have every right to do that. That's also why I wanted to do this episode for the podcast, because I did want you to know that you aren't alone. If this podcast brings you any kind of comfort, I wanted it to be there for you Christmas Eve, just in case you don't have the best Christmas. And equally, when I'm talking on this podcast about having felt left out or having wanted a boyfriend, but now it's kind of like, well, I don't want a boyfriend over Christmas, and that's okay. Because I think sometimes the media that's pushed onto you is that you should have a boyfriend or a partner over Christmas, and that's what you should want. But when you hear someone like myself saying, well, maybe that's actually not what I want right now, maybe that's quite affirming for you. And when I'm talking about how I used to not feel comfortable with my family, but now I do, if you're not feeling comfortable with your family right now, I want you to know that that's okay. And in the future, that story can change. I think there's beauty in allowing the story to evolve and knowing that you're in a chapter. You're not at the end. The story with your family could evolve, and the way that they treat you and the way that they respect you could evolve in the future, and just the relationship with your family. And I think that's really beautiful and something to look forward to. But I really hope that this Christmas you understand that to belong, you really need to belong in yourself and have the confidence within, and that you really aren't alone. There are so many people that feel like maybe they don't belong over the festive holiday with their family, but I think it's important to just tap in to chosen family, text them, let them know how you feel about them, and just know that you're not alone. It's okay. And as for being single over the holidays, you'll be fine. Watch a film. It's tough. It hurts. But sometimes you got to remember that it's not going to last forever. I believe it's now time to indulge in some Christmas Am I the Arseholes. Am I the Arsehole is basically a subreddit where people write in and frankly ask if they're an arsehole in the situation that they have found themselves in. So this Christmas Am I the Arsehole is entitled, Am I the Arsehole for putting my foot down and not allowing my mother-in-law to come to Christmas? My mother-in-law is a horrible person who loves to create drama wherever she can. We're in for a ride. Last Christmas, we both got our kids different gifts, as one was a 13-year-old girl and one is a 10-year-old boy. My mother-in-law decided to tell my daughter that she didn't get as many gifts as her brother and that we spent less on her, basically trying to get our daughter to believe that we loved her less. We then had to deal with a crying 13-year-old on Christmas. She has also bought super expensive gifts for people, specifically to upstage everyone. She will make a point of mentioning how much it is in front of people. She called up to ask what we will be doing for Christmas as it's our turn. I mentioned that me and my wife want to have a potluck at our place. She then proceeds to explain to me how we shouldn't let some family members cook certain foods because of some instances where they fucked up and ruined the dish. In brackets, this is all completely false information that she is mentioning to try and start some more family drama. This mother-in-law is a menace. I then decided to put my foot down and told my wife that I don't want her at our house starting drama on Christmas and that her phone call was the last straw. Wife is completely against it and thinks it's incredibly cruel to not invite her mum and doesn't want to exclude her. I've tried to talk to her and she doesn't care. Kitten is what are we doing in this situation? Personally, sorry I didn't let you speak, but frankly it's my podcast. Respectfully, you know, with all respect, of course. I think as a family, you have to lean into it. You have to have a little group meeting, of course, but you have to lean into, she's going to create drama. That's what she's here to do. We're going to give each other a knowing look when that drama is created, and we're just going to laugh about it when she's gone. That's what I would do, personally. But there's just a little like, oh, they do that every time they come over. I wonder if they know that. I'm not going to tell them because I know it might upset them. Obviously, it's different in this case if she's like a complete twat. But like, there are little things, like maybe something that someone says is when they open a present, or fake reactions when someone's opening a present. You give each other like a knowing look, especially with my brothers and I. Like if this was my brothers and I, and there was a mother-in-law that my parents had, we would just all we'd lean into it. We'd find it funny, to be honest, if someone was creating drama. Of course, also the kids are younger, so I guess it's kind of harder, but it would be tough for the mother-in-law to be by herself at Christmas. However, it's her bed, she's made it. No, it's her bed, she should lie in it. If you're being a drama queen over Christmas, it's frustrating. Also trying to pull focus, being like, look at the expensive gift I've given you. No one cares. I would much prefer something handmade over something designer. And that's the truth. Anyway, you're not the asshole for not inviting your mother-in-law. Actually, are you? No, I don't think you are. I don't think it's appropriate. I think that she probably should be invited. But equally, I'm not like, oh, you're a bad person for not wanting to invite her, because she sounds like a piece of work. The next and final Am I the Arsehole is entitled, Am I the Arsehole for not doing much for Christmas this year and making my husband livid? So, I'm a stay-at-home mum with 3 kids. Oh my god, so am I. So funny. My husband works full-time and gets an okay salary, but he's tightened the grip on spending over the past 4 months to be able to save up to go and watch football overseas. Immediate jail. He's literally obsessed with anything to do with football. Oh my god, that's really unique. For a man, that's really unique. You found one there. You're never going to be able to find a man like that again. Never. He said he rarely ever gets to do anything that he wants, and so I didn't want to judge him since it's his money eventually. We discussed plans for Christmas and he told me to handle everything since he won't be back till December 20th. This man needs to be sent to hell. I was about to say jail, but hell. He told me to put some money aside for Christmas decorations, food, gifts for the kids, etc. The money in total was $1,100. I was completely shocked. I told him $100 for an entire family's Christmas celebration was ridiculous. Not enough. He shrugged, saying it's all he's got, but pointed out how he's paying for his friends and his friends' girlfriends' travel expenses. Is this rage bait? He told me just to, quote, take it. But I said that if he decides to leave me with just $100, then I won't be doing anything for Christmas. We had a lot of arguments and couldn't get this resolved. He's now in Qatar, jail. Yesterday, while I was cleaning, I found an envelope with the same $100 and a note from him telling me to, quote, make it work. I sent him a little message today and I've decided I won't be doing anything for Christmas with this little money, period. It says. He was livid. He just kept sending angry message after angry message, calling me spoiled and telling me to stop expecting to live like I was living at my parents' house and to stop trying to rob the kids of enjoying holidays like the other kids. I haven't replied, but he's livid, saying I'm punishing him for going and trying to guilt him using his own money. Oh my goodness. Like this is textbook hell for me. I'm genuinely serious. If this ever turns out to be my future, I need one of you to come and save me. First of all, kids. Second of all, a husband that's obsessed with football. One that's willing to go to Qatar, no less, with his friends and his friends' girlfriends that he's paying for and travel. Like, you're going to hell. I hope you understand that. He's like, why are you robbing the kids of a Christmas experience? Bitch, you're the one that's flown first class to Qatar with your friends and their girlfriends. Like, what do you think this is? No, jail. Jail, divorce, then jail. Divorce, set him up for murder, making him go to jail for life. That's my new vocal stem, by the way. Kissing. When I'm being a little bit of a bitch at the end of it, just kind of like, a little bit of a diva. Or can you get me a drink, please? Love. I'm going to frame you for murder. Right? It kind of softens the blow a little bit, just a little. No, you're not the asshole. I think that you're actually a princess for putting up with this man. I can only apologize that you've had 2 children with him because now you're kind of stuck with him for life, and that's really tough. That's really sad as well. I hope your kids are nice. I hope they don't turn out to be like their dad because he sounds like an absolute piece of work and quite frankly, a twat. Equally, it sounds like, in my eyes, it kind of is giving, I'm giving you every reason to leave me. Are men just this ignorant? Like, are they ignorant to their arrogance, I guess? Like the arrogance of going to Qatar before Christmas? Like, be serious. You don't need to be no one needs to be over in Qatar. Come on now. But you're there no less with your friends and their girlfriends that you paid. You're just setting problems up so that if she complains about them, you can complain about her to your friends. That's what it sounds like to me. This man needs to go to hell. Set up for murder, prison for life, then to hell. Right. Those are the Am I the Arseholes? In both cases, no, these people were not the arseholes. But I hope you enjoyed this little segment of Holiday Am I the Arsehole submissions. Finally, we have some questions from the Kissnators to answer. I put on the self-interrupted close friends on Instagram if there are any questions. I've picked out a few. They're not all holiday related though, so I just want to preface that. So when we start off with what are your experiences with smell, in brackets, memories, self-expression, taste, other people, question mark. I want you to know exactly, like, you know, this isn't holiday specific. However, it could be, you know, because I think smell is an experience that you have over the holidays, hopefully throughout your whole life. But specifically, I mean, I'm currently in my living room. This isn't the living room. This is a room called the big room because it's a room that's big, right? The creativity of my family is just like, it's so fluid. Like it really just like runs through my whole family. I'm currently in the big room, which is where we actually celebrate Christmas. This is where we open presents. Hi, Christmas. But in the corner, I'm currently looking at it, is a barren Christmas tree. She's about, I say 10 foot tall, maybe 11. She's about 11 foot tall. She is leaning to one side, giving very much Leaning Tower of Leaning Tower of Pisa tease. Right. Just no decorations, completely naked. Slag of a tree, really, if we think about it logically. She smells gorgeous. You can't fault her for that. She really does smell nice. It smells like Christmas. And I will say throughout the year, I think about, like, you know, the smell of Christmas trees. But whenever you smell a Christmas tree, it always shocks you. You're like, oh, yes, this is nostalgia. And when I smell it, I do go back to a younger version of myself, nostalgia, etc. And I think it's funny that this person asks, you know, what's your experience with that? I think with smell, I'm very nostalgic. Like I will instantly start thinking about my childhood, how quickly time is going. My smell with memory is the same. Again, I think the smell of a Christmas tree is pretty attached to memory. And with other people, yes. I mean, I hope that when people smell my perfume, they think of me. Because when I smell my friends' perfumes, I do think of them, like, of course. And I just think it's really lovely. But equally, I think it is tough when you smell like an ex's fragrance. That's always hard, you know. It does make you want to kind of like, ooh, what if I just like found a cliff and jumped, you know? Sometimes after I went through a breakup recently, I actually wrote a song about it, and it was a lyric that was like, phantom fragrance that I smell in my room, seeping through my pores, I'm drowning in you. She's a poet, she's a lyricist, of course. I wrote that lyric because after I went through a breakup, I kept smelling the guy I had dated. I was so confused because he obviously wasn't around, but whether it was on my clothes or I could just remember how he smelled. Thank God I don't remember how he smelled now because I'm not experiencing phantom fragrance in my room. Seeping through my pores, I'm drowning in you. No. I don't remember what he smells like anymore. But I can guarantee you if I did, I would seep back into it. You know, you kind of like fall into the scent. But yeah, I do have a lovely experience with smell. I love smell. I love that question. What's your experience with smell? Obsessed. Like, I wonder if they're going to come back and be like, what's your experience with taste? Up next, how to get over an avoidant as an anxiously attached girly. Our third anniversary would have been Christmas. I love how they ended the question off with that. They were like, wait, Christmas special, let's throw Christmas in there. I'm really sad to hear that you've been broken up with, and especially that your anniversary is Christmas. That's really tough because obviously it's something that's going to remind you of that person. I think it's really interesting when we talk about attachment styles, and I kind of had this realization myself recently, and it's gonna come across quite abrasive and I don't want it to, but I think attachment styles are placed onto people that maybe aren't right for us. And of course, attachment styles are legit, and there's it's more so like a study that was created maybe like 50 years ago, but attachment styles aren't an indicator of a good or bad person. It's just the way that people cope with things. When I was dating, I kept kind of placing attachment styles onto people, and I kept placing them onto myself. I was like, oh, I'm anxiously attached. I can't stop thinking about them. I can't stop doing this. But when I really have sat back with myself recently, when I've really indulged in this period of my life where I'm single, I told myself, I just don't believe the right person for me will make me feel anxiously attached. I don't believe that the right person for me is someone that's avoidant. I think that person just maybe doesn't want to speak to me today. Of course, there's more nuance to that, but I think at the end of the day, someone that likes you will let you know that they like you. And equally, I think if you're really suffering with anxious attachment and someone's really suffering with avoidant attachment, maybe it's not time for a relationship. And I know that kind of goes against everything that you hear on social media, where it's like, oh, they're an avoidant, they're anxious. And it's like, I think if you were in a stable place in your mind where you're ready to actually date, maybe you wouldn't be feeling that way. And I know that may come across really harsh, because I know that if I heard that, back when I was dating and I really wanted to date, but I was anxiously attached, I would have been like, oh, shut up, I want to date. Just because I'm anxiously attached doesn't mean I can't date. But I think if you were ready to date, you wouldn't be anxiously attached because you'd be secure within yourself. If you are avoidant and you're feeling avoidant while you're dating, maybe you're not in a place where you can date. If you're scared at the fact that you're going to run off, you're going to leave someone in the dust because you're avoidant, maybe it's not the right time for you to date, and that's okay. So as an anxiously attached girly, how can you get over an avoidant? It's become secure within yourself. Understand what you have and understand that their validation is not the validation that you need. It's just the validation that you seek. You can seek validation from within. When you understand that you don't need someone else's validation to feel secure within yourself, it's really important. And I don't mean secure looks wise or personality wise. I just mean secure within the relationship you have with yourself. Because I think sometimes you can believe that, oh, I'm really lonely if I don't have this person. It's not true. It's Christmas. You're surrounded by family. You're surrounded by friends. Stop thinking about the person that isn't contacting you. They're not contacting you for a reason. And I know it's really harsh to hear, but I want to get this through to you. It's okay to come to the realization that maybe that person wasn't 100% right for you. And it's okay to realize that maybe the person that you will date in the future that will be right for you won't make you feel anxiously attached, and they won't be avoidant. There will just be love there that is unspoken. You feel it. You know, I think what's made me feel really secure in being single is understanding that there's more people out there. You know, I could easily fall in love every day. Truly. I sit in a cafe and I see so many beautiful people and I'm like, my God, I was really caught up over this man that treated me really crap for about 3 months of this year. I was so caught up in that. For what? Why? Why did I care that much? I acted as if he was the only person that was going to love me. He didn't even love me to begin with. Why did I care about this man that couldn't even treat me correctly? It's because I wasn't secure. That's the reason. Now I'm secure. I look at those people and I think, my God, thank God we didn't date any longer than we did. You didn't deserve any more time with me than you already had. It's really important to understand that a lot of these labels that we put on ourselves is because we don't have a secure framework to work with, which is ourselves. We don't have it secure. So we try and plaster it up with conditions such as being anxiously attached or avoidant just to make sense of things that aren't complete in ourselves. Go and work on yourself. Come back in the new year ready to date someone new that will respect you. The final question in the Christmas Q&A section is, hello kit/innators, what's your favorite thing about the holiday season? Food. I will be honest with you, it is going to be food. I love a massive Sainsbury's shop that I get to add to off of my parents' credit card. Sorry, I have to say it. I love it because I'm in my parents' house eating really good food, watching films. Wallace and Gromit? What do you know about Wallace and Gromit on the TV while I'm pigging out? Obsessed. Hot chocolate, toast, tons of butter, tons of jam while decorating a tree, unwrapping presents, giving presents. I really, really love giving presents. My favorite thing about the holidays, making it all about me. Yes, of course I am. Also, I just love cheese and biscuits. Last night, can I be honest with you all? Hold my hand. Come on. We're not going to do this for like 3 more months, so just hold my hand. Okay, ready? Breathing in, breathing out. I ate so much cheese yesterday. Cheese and crackers. Oh my God. And butter. Salted butter, real butter on a cracker, tons of mature cheddar. And I don't even bite the cracker. It goes in all at once and I'm making the next one while I'm chewing it. That is Christmas. I could get emotional, right? That's the end of the Q&A section. Finally, I thought it'd be a really good idea to talk about my plans for the new year. I'm not going to see you during the new year. So I thought, let's talk about how I move on from one year into the next, realistically, to be honest, and what goals I'm setting for next year and who I'm trying to be next year. Okay, so first of all, plans for the New Year's. New Year's Eve, guys, who's going to parties? Not me. No, I love being in solitude. New Year's Eve, I'm talking bed by 7:30. And I know what you're thinking, Kate, you're so boring. But equally, you tell me if this is boring. Okay, so New Year's Eve day. It gets to about 4 p.m. I've maybe been doom scrolling for about an hour or two. Of course, it's the holidays. Instantly, inspiration strikes. I say, Kate, you got to get it together. It's a new year tomorrow. Excuse me. For the next 2 hours solid, I'm listening to no music. I am just completely decluttering my room. The Hoover's upstairs. I'm hoovering the floor. The drawers are now completely pristine. They're empty of clothes that I don't want. Some are going to vintage charity and some are just being thrown away because some of them are disgusting. My drawers are clean. There's like 3 rubbish bins that came out of like a singular drawer. How that happens, I don't know. But now I'm sitting in a clean bedroom. A candle is lit. There's some calm spa music playing in the background. And I'm sitting on my bed. Now, while I sit on my bed, I have my journal in front of me. And you know it's about to get serious. Something that I love to do every New Year's Eve is do something called a journal dump. Right? Where I'm not kidding, for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, I will write out key points of my year, how they made me feel, and what I learned from them. And I know it sounds really indulged, but truly, it's a really lovely and cathartic experience. I love to go through my camera roll to jog my memory, because I will say, this year feels like it's been going on for, how you say, ever. My goodness, at the beginning of this year, I had ginger hair. Who remembers my ginger hair? I can't believe it. I genuinely thought that was last January, not this most recent January. It's crazy to me. I like to write down what's happened this year, my accomplishments, my failures, failed relationships, people that I don't talk to anymore for good reason, exes, etc. It's been a really intense year, I will say. I think dating this year has been really overwhelming for me. I literally went on my first date this year, and then I had like 3 different premises of like relationships that could have happened, but then ended up that they didn't. And I've learned something from every single one of the boys that I've dated this year. And I think more than anything, I've just learned that like I should raise my standards. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but I just mean it in like, oh, I actually do deserve more than that. I deserve more than being ghosted. I deserve more than someone that's going to ask me to pay them back for a drink that they got me at the pub. Like, right. It was pretty bad this year, guys. So we are going into next year having written down everything in my journal that happened the past year. I then enter the new year, New Year's Day. I wake up 5:30 a.m. just like I classically do. French press in my office, Wallace and Gromit on the TV with a sweet treat, and I write out my goals for 2026. That's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm really excited to do it. I know that people go out partying, and I don't want to sound like, pick me, choose me, love me. I do just love being by myself. I love being in my own company. I love waking up in my own bed on New Year's Day. I think it's really lovely. And I just love that time in the morning where maybe you're eating Christmas chocolates and you're planning your new year and you get to get inspired. And something I'm really trying to indulge in 2026 is this newfound independence that I have for myself and sticking to it and honoring that. It's a moment in my life that I'm really proud that I've got to, because for a really long time I wanted that companionship and I yearned for it quite desperately, to be honest, on this podcast even. And I'm really happy that I am nobody's girl. I'm really just by myself, and that's what I want. And I'm leaning into that. Some more frivolous things that I forgot to say, after my journal dump, wherever I am in that journal, I have to get a new journal for 2026 or the new year, sorry. Some more frivolous things that I want to do next year, which I have actually started implementing now. Doing word searches every morning and also playing Sudoku every morning, which I've started doing. Love Sudoku. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Absolutely love it. Like games that you can physically play on paper with a pencil. Love that. Cooking different meals. I'm such a creature of habit. I tend to literally just like reach for the same thing every day. So I'm trying to be more experimental and giving myself the grace to cook meals that I actually want to eat. Not just the same thing because we could talk about this for a long time in season 6, but not just eating the same thing because it's comfortable, eating new foods because pushes me out of my comfort zone. But yes, that's the plan for the new year. I hope that you're also looking forward to your New Year's and your New Year's plans, whatever they are, whether you're going out partying, kissing a bunch of people, or you're just staying in like me, journaling. I hope that you have a great time. Yeah, I just hope you have such a lovely Christmas, and I've really, really enjoyed doing this episode, and I hope that you also enjoyed watching or listening to it. But now, of course, we need to get into the recommendation of the week and the vinyl of the week. The recommendation of the week this week are a few Christmas films that I want to put you guys onto, which I'm sure you already have. I'm like, Christmas films that you haven't heard of. The Grinch, Holiday, Love Actually, right? And they were actually my recommendations, so now what? Actually The Holdovers as well. I really love the film The Holdovers. Beautiful soundtrack and score. And also one of those films that's set around Christmas, but not necessarily a Christmas film. Really lovely. And the cinematography in that film is great as well. My vinyl of the week this week is going to have to be Fruitcake by Sabrina Carpenter. So there's this instant Christmas classic. Truly. When it came out, I sat Emma down in her flat and I made her listen to every single track. So I was like, it's genius. Cindy Lou Who, please. But that is a very self-interrupted Christmas. I hope that you've enjoyed this Christmas special of an episode. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope that you felt comfort. I hope that you felt companionship. And I hope that above all else, I've made you feel slightly festive. Happy holidays, happy Christmas, and a happy new year. I will see you in the new year for the new season of Self Interrupted. But until then, I'm sending you so much love. As always, Kit.